Everybody, welcome. We are here live on Facebook for a talk back with the playwright, the director, and the cast of The Case of the Missing Jewelry. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for your hard work on this project. We are so delighted to have finally seen, after so many weeks and months, the project here in fruition. So, let's open up our discussion by talking to Jordan, director of this show. Jordan, tell us a little bit about your vision for this play.
So my vision, I remember when Griffin wrote this for the screenwriting screenplay writing class we had, and I was trying to figure out the best way to capture this very dynamic script that he wrote because it's a lot of action happening in Case of Missing Jewelry, a lot of just big action, and I was like, how do I show that? And I thought about it. I was like, maybe I don't show it. Maybe we use a different medium because I've been a big fan of podcasts and audio dramas for a while now. And I figured, oh, you can basically leave almost anything to the imagination because everything's on the page. And instead trying to recreate what's on the page, I was like, let's just show the work for how it is through the audio drama. That way we can really listen to all of the words and all the actions that Griffin had put into place. So I wanted to make it less visual heavy, but more writing dialogue first, because that's where I believe a lot of the juice for this project is. So I felt that an audio drama would be a great showcase. And that way we can, and something we worked on with the cast a lot was our vocal presence. We would do vocal warm-ups every rehearsal before we got started so that all of our acting would be channeled. Because I'll save that for later, but definitely gives our actors a chance to showcase their vocal ability. So it really showcases the best talents of everyone involved.
Well, you mentioned how the play came to be. It was in your script writing class last summer at the start of the
Mm-hmm.
big pandemic year. We were all stuck at home
Mm-hmm.
last summer, and you offered a playwriting class, and Griffin was in it. Griffin,
Yeah.
uh, can you talk a little bit about how you wrote the play last summer?
I wrote about someone who's trying to steal the jewelry.
And you had some wonderful characters that you created. Do you remember them?
Yep, I remember
Rose?
Rose and Paul.
Rose and Paul. They were the leads,
Yeah.
right? And who was the clerk at the store? Do you remember that character's name?
Uh,
Just put that down. That's just all about the play.
okay, I'll put it
It's
over
a
here.
program.
I'll just put it over here. So I learned about when a burglar tries to steal it, when a burglar tries to take the jewelry away, and then they found someone who did it, so we know who it was.
So you created a mystery, and
Yep,
you had a solution at the end, right?
right.
Excellent. Griffin, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to share a little bit about you because I've known you for quite some time. When you started with Kada, you were just a little kid, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
You were about 8 years old, and
Right.
in those days, you didn't talk very much.
Nope.
In fact, you were kind of scared by the theater. You sat in your rocking chair and you watched, but you didn't join in for a while. And
Yeah.
then one day you jumped out of that rocking chair and you started to act, and by golly, you put your whole self into it.
Yeah.
Then a little later on, a few years passed, and you started creating stories yourself. You wrote a play about a supermarket, right? Do you
Yeah, I remember that.
remember that play? It was a superhero story about a villain who was trying to take over a supermarket
Yeah.
and take out the healthy snacks and put in unhealthy
Yeah.
snacks instead. And you created a hero. Do you remember your hero's name?
Supermarket man.
Yes, and who was his sidekick?
Let's see. Who was it? I don't remember who it
I
was.
think it was Cart Boy.
Cart Boy, right. Cart Boy was the one who helped.
Did you have a cart at the market? It
Right.
was a wonderful play, and we performed it in class.
Right.
And now you have written a mystery years
Yeah.
later. Have you had a chance to see the finished production, Griffin?
Yes.
What did you think?
It was good.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Is this the first time you're meeting the people who played your parts?
Yeah.
Well, they are here. Some of them are here in the room.
Okay.
Jordan, would you like to introduce your cast to Griffin?
Sure. So those who are in the room right now, we have Deborah Mayer, who played Rose, the lead, very
Aw.
well.
It's nice to meet you.
We have
Nice to
we
meet
have
you.
yes, we have Ruben Ryan, who played Mark, our villain of the story, for those of you who've seen it.
Hello.
And then we have Brandy Burke, who plays one of our police officers, who helps save the day in the end.
Hello.
Hello.
So we're missing the actor who played Paul and the other police
Mhm.
officer, correct?
Yes, and there was the boss of the jewelry store, who's not here as well.
True, true.
Mhm.
Okay. Go back to where you were explaining how you worked to create the murder mystery as a radio drama, and you worked
Yes.
with actors.
So the first step of it, I really wanted to get the cast comfortable with the script. Although we were having them read from it, so you wouldn't think a lot of work would go into just reading it, even though we're recording it, so they didn't have to have it memorized. But I wanted to make sure that they were so comfortable with the script that they could try different versions of characters, know it forward, backwards, and sideways. So every rehearsal, we would start with a vocal warm up, get their voices juiced up so they have full range. And then we would just read through the script twice. Each time I would give them maybe a different direction of where to go, each character wise. I think Deborah, I was telling you a couple of times that Rose is just beyond in love with Paul, and that her life is all magical and
Yes.
wonderful up until her watch gets stolen. So we were really working on accenting that. And then the whole context, tone wise, other than the radio drama I wanted to go for, is that everyone is really super nice, except for the villain Mark. So so I wanted to have that contrast in there so that you can see like, oh, everyone's just really nice, just living their lives, because Griffin created a wonderful utopian world, other than Mark, who sort of steals the jewelry and sort of messes that up. So I really want to make sure that contrast was there, and Ruben did an excellent job of just accessing that villainous voice that he can do.
Ruben, you want to talk a little bit about playing the villain?
It's always fun to be the bad guy for some reason. I don't know how bad Mark really is. He's kind of just a jerk.
Taking the watch is not a good thing.
No.
No.
No, I mean that's bad. That's bad. But his reasons for doing it is kind of just that he's a jerk. So I just tried to sound like a jerk. That's all.
That was your motivation.
Yep.
Being a jerk.
Kind of.
And how did you do that with just your voice? You couldn't rely on your face or your body language.
Well, it's all just about inflection. Just making your voice sound like everything someone else says to you is annoying to you. That's what I was going for after I was filled in on what my character was all about.
Well, Griffin, what did you think of Ruben's portrayal of Mark?
Well, he thought that someone was gonna steal it, and then he did a really good job playing that part of it. So he did a good job.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Griffin.
You're welcome.
Playwright.
And then on turn with the police officers coming in, I gave Brandy and Morgan the direction of, you guys are just the nicest officers ever to exist, wanting to be uber helpful.
A true fantasy, right?
I mean, yeah, but they did a great job of just like bringing in, just showing like how nice the external world really is.
Well, that's kind of appropriate because aren't Rose and Paul senior citizens or older couple?
They are an older couple. They've been married for a long time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the police officers being kind and gentle was appropriate.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Rose. Deborah?
Hi, yes, I enjoyed playing Rose. She was this sweet, innocent woman who thought everybody was nice. But even when she got her watch stolen by Mark, she was this sweet woman. She didn't even really get mad that much, which should have. If that was me, I would have been different.
So you had to contain your emotions a little bit to play this part.
Yes.
Well, Griffin, do you have anything to say to Rose about her?
Well, you did a really good job when you thought that your watch was stolen, that your watch got stolen.
Aww.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Going back to our police officer, how was playing a police officer without having to wear a costume or have any props like a gun or a badge? How was that for you, Brandy?
It was great. I kind of channeled the Andy Griffin show into that to get the feel good neighborhood police officer in there.
Very nice. I think it was a great idea, Jordan, that you chose to do it as a radio drama. And I was particularly struck by the pacing of it. It really had the feel of sitting in your living room and listening to the radio and never having watched a TV before. You were just
Right.
engrossed in this story being told by voices alone.
Mm-hmm.
Did you use any sound effects?
Yes, that was the other big thing because I knew the cast was going to be set. The story was told by the cast really well, and so I wanted to support that with scenery that we couldn't see, but that we could hear, and hearing would result in sort of feeling it. So I was searching all over the internet for sound bites and other things just to supplement the world. Because like I mentioned, the actors do a really great job of setting the story and that pace. And so what I added in the editing was just a couple of just scenery sounds. So we were adding traffic noise when they were in the car. I had some atmospheric noise when they were in the store. I am very corny and love sound effects and just like big musical moments of just like dun dun dun. So I added a bunch of those in there just to really accent the point of what the actors are saying. So any chance I got, I put in sound effects.
Now, one of the bonuses that we had hiring you, Jordan, is that you have studied video editing and media art. So you did your own video editing for this.
Yes.
Correct? And can you tell us a little bit about this process? How is it different editing Zoom video from, say, going out and shooting something on your own and bringing it back to edit?
Well, there's a lot with anything you're shooting. There's a lot of pre-production, and that essentially is just the planning out beforehand. And that's always a challenge because it's hard to think of what you're going to need in the future. The especially thing with the Zoom editing is that you have to know what your format is. So we don't have the luxury of going out to different spaces and being able to find different takes, different spaces. We sort of have one set space, and with that, you sort of have to work with the puzzle pieces you're given. I always like to compare film editing or movie editing to putting pieces of a puzzle together. So in that situation, I identify what puzzle pieces we have. So I know we have actors, we have the format where we can record. Luckily, ours is mostly audio, so I didn't have to deal with a lot of video continuity. But then also trying to see how those all come together in a picture that doesn't exist yet. That's the hard part because you don't know what the picture creating is. There's no box that tells you what it's going to look like. You have an idea of what you think it might look like, but it's really up to you to create that photo. And it may end up looking different than what it did in your head. But luckily with this one, the goal that I had of creating that cohesive radio drama story came to fruition.
You added some visuals just as sort of framing each scene. A slide of something, and then when the scene changed, another slide popped up. I thought that was nice. That kept us in the scene, and yet it didn't distract from the voices.
Right, because I wanted to be primarily audio, but then I didn't want to just not leave anything visually. So I wanted to make it supplemented. You didn't add to the story. It didn't like add narrative to the story. It added just context. So you just got a clearer vision. because I wanted the audio to lead. That's how I sort of framed rehearsals and everything. So I wanted to stay true to that, but the visuals were purely just to give a little bit more context.
Well, we should let our audience know that this play is available for viewing still. If you go to centerforada.org, there is a page for the One Act Play Festival. You can click on order tickets from that page and it'll take you to our Square account and you can order tickets. It will be up and available for viewing through September 15th. This is actually our 7th One Act out of 8. I'm just thrilled that we have got so far with it. When we started this journey, we had no idea what a big project it was going to be. I know, Ruben, you've been involved in a lot of the preparations, such as making sure we have accessible versions online. Could you talk just a little bit about what we have to offer viewers who might not have the best hearing or the best visuals?
Yes, we have made a serious commitment to making this festival as accessible as possible. And what that includes is we have put out versions of all the plays, in addition to the standard version, which is just as it was recorded. We also have it available with closed captioning. We have it available with audio description, and we have it with American Sign Language. So if you have trouble seeing or hearing, we have versions for you. No need that you can't enjoy it as well.
We have a question from the audience. How long did it take to put together this play?
This was, I want to say, with everything going on, time isn't real. Let me first just say that. My concept of time is way, way off. But I believe this was about a 2-month process. Okay. One, just to get the cast, I think a good month, Chuck, just to get the cast comfortable with each other and to get that performance aspect situated. And then another month for me to sit down and actually edit it together, listen to it, put it all together again, listen to it, put it all together again. So I think that is the time frame. And then, not including the writing of it.
Yeah, the writing took place a whole year ago.
Yes.
And that happened over 10 weeks in your playwriting class. You will be teaching another form of that class this fall, I believe, Jordan. The writer's room. You want to give a little plug for that? Because you're such a
yes. I love this class so much because I didn't get started writing like this until the pandemic happened. So this was a big inspiration for me to like really dive into writing, and then I wanted to share that gift with other people, especially with Kata, where I know we have a lot of great storytellers. So this is a good class that if you ever wanted to learn what it is to write with other people, this is a great class for that. How most sort of rooms for writing, like in TV shows or other aspects like that, they have their own writer's room. And so that's what we're trying to recreate, that writer's room where we all sort of pitch ideas and develop a story together. I am co-teaching this class with Eve Urban, who we taught the YouTube production class last year. I love working with her. We work really well together. And so we're really excited just to bring another class of writers in to help develop a story from the ground up.
Now, one of the things that we do at CADA is we work with all abilities.
Yes.
So you do not have to have a disability to take this class. On the other hand, if you cannot physically write, you can still take this class because we provide supports for that. We will support whatever your ability is so that you can participate fully in all of our classes.
If you can't read, you can take this class because even I work as scribes and we will repeat what we say. We begin each class recapping what we did in the last class, so you're never in the dark about anything. So we keep you up to date, and we provide those contexts because we think it's important to make this process inclusive as possible. Because I've noticed from some writers' rooms that's not always, there's not that commitment, and I think the process works better when there's that commitment at the beginning to make sure everyone's included from the bottom up of that process.
You know, this is the big word, inclusive, that everyone is tossing around these days. How can we be more inclusive? And it's not just including people with disabilities into performance or classes. It's also getting people who have never worked with a person with disability to sign on and join in. Instead of being a part and watching them, come in and work as an actor or as a writer. You will learn so much when you are in a room full of people with all abilities, as opposed to all being just able-bodied actors. Would you agree with that, Ruben?
Yes, I would agree with that. Coming together as a community, the exposure of people with disabilities to people without disabilities and people without disabilities to people with disabilities is inherent to creating a more accessible society.
Absolutely. And Griffin, I think your cast was one of our most inclusive casts that we have
Oh,
had.
thank you.
Yeah, all abilities, all working together under Jordan's direction to make your play come true, true to life.
Yeah.
Well, Griffin, thank you for writing a story that allowed us
You're
to have
welcome.
such diversity and be
Yeah.
able to play in such a fun way. Because this was not you can't do that with all. I mean, it can be difficult to do with other scripts, but this one was really perfect in a way where we could just get basically anybody who was willing
Right.
and wanting to do it into that sort of space. So thank you for creating that work.
Thank
Griffin,
you.
I hope you keep writing because you have wonderful characters in your head.
I know.
And story ideas. So please keep writing. We will always produce your work.
I will.
I'd like to talk a little bit about some upcoming events. Next Saturday, Theater on the Spectrum, our performance troupe, is going to be appearing at the Richfield Community Day celebration.
It's Sunday.
Sunday, August 8th. Okay. And it is at what time, Ruben?
It will be at 2:30.
And can you share the address?
Sure. Hold on.
This is going to be our first live performance back in the real world since probably February 2020.
It is 4100 Broadview Road, Richfield, Ohio 442286.
If you Google Richfield Community Days, you will find that information out. And we're performing at 2:30 in a tent somewhere, correct?
Yes, they have a spot for us to perform. I believe it's
just half an hour, so be there on time to see us perform. And then the following week, this is not a public performance, but some of our actors are going up to Lorraine to lead a workshop for Lorraine Board of Developmental Disabilities on advocacy and using theater for advocacy. This is a program that we have been doing for a number of years. It's called Act for Advocacy. And Ruben, again, can you describe a little bit of what we'll be doing with those folks?
Yes, Act for Advocacy essentially uses a combination of storytelling and improv and role-playing to basically play out in most cases, real-world scenarios of discrimination against people with disabilities, and helps people try to, through the improv and role-playing, determine how to handle these situations when they arise.
The cool thing about it is it invokes community solutions. So everybody contributes to the possible ways of changing the outcome. And we all work together to think through these situations that are oppressive or discriminatory. And if you are interested, if you have a group that's interested in doing this work, feel free to contact us. info@centerforada.org, and we will gladly come to your group's event to share our process with you. And then let's see. Our next improv show is August 27th online. It's called The Last Friday Improv, and it's at 7:30. And it will be members of our improv troupe performing various improv fun games and so forth. And we like to get an audience in there to contribute suggestions and ideas. Let's see. One more big announcement. The Center for Applied Drama and Autism just received a big grant from the Ohio Arts Council, We are going to be starting a comedy troupe this fall, and it is going to be under the direction of Ruben, and there will be auditions for company members, all abilities. It's going to be mostly online. We feel that the situation with the pandemic is not safe yet for all of us to be out and about, especially in the fall and the winter. So we will be doing comedy shows online. They will be original shows created by the company. Company members will receive stipends for their work. So this is a professional training opportunity if you are a person with disabilities who wants to get your foot in the door with improv, stand-up, sketch writing. We're going to explore all kinds of comedy and see what works best for our troupe. Ruben, do you have any thoughts on that?
On the comedy class?
Comedy troupe.
Oh, the comedy troupe. Okay. Yes. Well, it should be an exciting endeavor. We're looking forward to bringing people together and producing some quality comedy.
We just got the grant, so we really haven't had our big meeting to work out all the details, but it's going to get started in September. So, you should like our page on Facebook. You should check our website out, centerforada.org. Sign up for the newsletter. There will be a big announcement when we have auditions for the comedy troupe, and we'd love to have some people from out of state join in. It's not just for people in Akron. Do we have any more thoughts, comments?
Nope.
Nope, says Griffin. Well, Griffin, I would like to once again congratulate you on your play.
Thank you.
A wonderful play. Tell your friends they have to see it. Everybody tell your friends.
Okay.
Friends and relatives. This play is going to be available through September.
Okay.
And we have one more coming up. It
Okay.
opens the last weekend of August.
Okay.
It's called More Than Meets the Eye.
Okay.
And it takes place in London.
Okay.
And so through the magic of Zoom and Zoom backgrounds, we can have our cast appear as if they are in London. And
Okay.
they are working on a film, making a movie in London.
Okay.
So we look forward to that. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. And this talkback will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can share it with your friends. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Where is the end, the live stream? I can't find the live stream. Oh, there. Oh.
Isn't it up there at the top?